Come on, Joe. Is this what we're doing? Really? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we're going to talk about Joe Biden and the controversial way that he introduced his 47-year-old black male senior advisor by the name of Cedric Richmond. And I'll place his picture on the screen before you. Now you may be asking, hey, ABL, why does his age and race and picture matter? I'll explain that in a moment, but first, let's back up so you have some context into what's happening here. Now, Joe Biden went to a FEMA conference because you have the hurricane on the way. Hurricane Ida, if I'm not mistaken. And as a side note, prayers out to all who have been affected by the storm already. And if you are kind of in the line of fire, hopefully you'll be safe and secure and your family will be good to go. But let me get back to the conference. So he's here, giving a few introductions and pleasantries. And he mentioned Cedric Richmond, but refers to him as a boy, which is a really hot button thing. That's a really racially charged term to use toward adult black men. And when I first saw that headline, I was like, nah, he didn't say boy like that. He was trying to say my boy or something kind of innocent, but it didn't sound that way when he said it. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see Joe Biden at the FEMA conference by himself at a table. You'll hear him introduce Cedric Richmond. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what was said there. I'll give you some more context on top of that, some past context on top of that. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're waiting for a few more people to get on, but we're going to get started, if that's okay with you all. And thanks for joining me. I'm here. The FEMA director is on. FEMA director Criswell, she's on, and I'm here with my senior advisor and boy who knows Louisiana very, very well, man, and New Orleans, and Cedric Richmond. And what I'm going to do is make a brief statement here and then go through and tell you what we're doing, but then hear from all of you if that's okay. I know you're busy as the devil.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, Joe, that right there was terrible, super cringy. Okay, first things first, to get the elephant out of the room, no pun intended, but I guess if it works, it works. If anybody on the right were to say something like that, it wouldn't be this whole thing of trying to give him excuses and, oh, he really meant this and he didn't mean that. There would be none of that going on. Remember when Trump said, my African American, hey, there's my African American, pointing out a guy in the crowd. There was think pieces for years about that. Years. The guy came out talking about he ruined my life. Years later, like I'm talking about 3 years later, he came out and said he ruined my life. Okay. Now, obviously, Trump was not trying to be racist. At least that's what I believe. But it doesn't even matter because the media, they dogpile on him. He didn't refer to the man as boy or yell at him like Biden likes to do. But yet and still, he's considered to be racist. Now, this comment right here, people want to say, oh, no, he didn't really mean that. He meant to say my boy. So why did he say a boy? I'm here with a boy who knows Louisiana very well. What he may have wanted to say, but did not say, obviously, was a good old Louisiana boy who knows these parts very well. That right there would have made some sense. Even though it's still not very respectful for your 47-year-old colleague to say something like that. Would you have said that if you were talking about Bernie Sanders? Oh, it's a good old Vermont boy, or wherever he's from, good old New York boy. Would you say that to your colleague? I mean, I don't think that I would say something like that to my colleague. Even if I say, good old boy, I just really wouldn't do that. You got to have a level of respect for your colleagues, right? I think Cedric Richmond is a member of Congress. I think he's a House rep, been a House rep for a long time. Used to be the head of the Congressional Black Caucus. So where's the respect for the man at? If it's me The only time the word boy is acceptable is like if it's your son or something like that. Like my dad will always call me boy. I'm 30 something years old and I call him when he was alive and he was like, "What's up, boy?" Here I am, married and everything else with a house. It don't even matter because that's my father. It's father-son dynamic. But my colleague, my coworker calling me boy, no, that's not how that's going to go because beyond race, there's a certain level of respect. You come up with my first name, you call me Cedric, I call you Joe, and it's cool. Or Mr. President, whatever it is. But don't call me boy. Where's the respect at? And racist, maybe, probably, disrespectful 1,000%. And this is not Joe Biden's first time doing something like this. Remember I did that video last year for you guys that have been here that long? December 2020. This is after Joe Biden won, but before the inauguration. There was a Zoom call that got leaked, and he was speaking to black members of Congress, black lawmakers. He was screaming at them, cussing at them, all types of stuff. And guess who was there? Guess who? You guessed it, Cedric Richmond. Check it out.
Well, I don't know if that counts. I'm not so sure. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. But because it's real. It's real. For 25 years as a United States Senator. Before, Sherilyn, you were even involved. I got it. I started off, I'm much older than you. That's why I got involved in politics. If in case you haven't looked, we have the largest voting right, Kristen, my operation, 1,000 lawyers.
And so you saw that right there. Now, this was not on TV. It was just a private Zoom call that got leaked. Nobody said a word to counteract what he was saying, to say, hey, let's, keep it down a little bit. They're getting screamed on, cussed at, and it's fine by this white man. Now, imagine if Trump were speaking to a bunch of black lawmakers this way. Imagine that. Imagine what the fallout would be. Oh, it's a private conversation. So was the whole grab him by the you-know-what conversation. And we see what that turned into. That kind of became an impeachment in itself from years ago. This was when he was elected, quote unquote. He's speaking to black lawmakers this way. And it's fine. It's all right. Richmond is right there not saying the word. Soft on his part for not saying anything and for sticking by his side, being a senior advisor, because it's one thing, you got your guy in office, he's a Democrat, you don't want to rock the boat, okay, that's one thing. But when you accept a job as a senior advisor in the cabinet, when you don't have to, when you could just continue to be a congressman and keep grifting money that way, you want to be in the administration, getting yelled on, screamed at, disrespected, and that's fine. It's funny because Cedric Richmond was a leader of the CBC at one point. I think he is or was. I'm not sure he's in charge now. It might be this guy right here, G.K. Butterfield, who is black, allegedly. That's the OG Shaun King. That's Rosa Parks of Shaun King's. But that's a different story. Anyway, the Congressional Black Caucus did not allow Byron Donalds in there because he is too conservative. He is, I guess, too much of a Republican to be there. Okay, you don't want to have him in there, but you will allow Joe Biden to say whatever he wants to you, to call you boy, yell at you, scream at you, and it's no problem. But the icing on the cake for me is when Joe Biden said, hey, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights.
Said it on TV like it was nothing. You're on this black show, very popular show, one of the most popular shows in the country, probably the most popular urban show, maybe even in the world. And you come up there with no respect for the host, just not even really caring. And then my thing is, from his point of view, probably like, what's the point in caring? What's the point of giving any kind of respect? Why? Nothing that he can say will increase his vote in the black community. And quite frankly, there's not much he can do to reduce the vote. Because those that are out there voting, which are not the majority of us, in my humble opinion, as far as black folks, but the majority of us that do vote kind of feel, superior, educated, I'm super intelligent. I got all my ducks in the row, all this, that, and the third. So they're just going to vote blue no matter who. It doesn't matter if that person will hack a straight loogie and spit right on the eyeball. It's irrelevant. You know, here comes Trump trying his best to get the black vote, trying his best to do some outreach. He's trying to get the entire GOP to do some outreach and to lean more toward the black community to no avail, to a minimal avail, minimal at best. Democratic Party do whatever they want to do, failing cities, failed policies, disrespectful politicians that don't do anything, and they cuss at you, fuss at you, lock you up, crime bill. It doesn't even matter. So from Joe Biden's point of view, what's the purpose in trying to be respectful? Why would I do anything beyond what I've done? I can yell at them, scream at them, talking about I got blonde hairs on my legs, that, you know, to turn color in the sun. I know about roaches. You can say all these things about the black community to the black community, and it won't make a difference. So what's the point in calling Cedric anything else other than a boy? Why worry about my wording and how I sound? I may have wanted to say good old Louisiana boy, but I call him a boy. So what? Who cares? Anybody gonna do nothing? That's probably his mentality. And the question I have for anybody listening is he wrong? Is he wrong? His disrespectful nature is not really going to impact him the way that it would Donald Trump or anybody that's on the right in the same position, because the left, they want to protect this man when it comes to things like this. The whole Afghanistan kerfuffle was probably the worst he could have done. That was the worst. But calling a black man the boy, which has an historical connotation of racist whites calling black men boys, not really worried about that. He didn't really mean it. He was tired. So what? Get over it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Joe Biden said as far as the whole boy comment? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about Cedric Richmond and his lack of any kind of kickback, not saying anything, just kind of going along to get along? Whatever thoughts on him are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I stand. I think Cedric Richmond is soft, as are the entire CBC. All these black lawmakers soft, getting screamed on, yelled on, and they didn't even do anything. They're just asking questions and talking, getting screamed on, cussed at, and all that good stuff for nothing. Why? Probably because he can do it and they won't do anything. It's like a bully will punch you in the head over and over again until you do something to stop it. That's kind of how the CBC are, and a lot of these black Democrats are. It's really a shame, but I can tell you one thing. Shout out to everybody that wants to be free away from that plantation. I'm going to call it what it is. People might get offended. If you're offended by that language, the question is, are you still there? Or are you more offended at me saying plantation than you are at Joe Biden calling you a boy and screaming at you and all this and that? What's more offensive? But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.